Good morning, this is Ashish Behel from goodgearhub. In a rather somber mood today because there've been a spate of incidents between fights between SUVs and motorcyclists over the last few days, which is really called road rage. So the topic for today's podcast is road rage, the futility which we must master if we want to ride more. Deep sigh already. That's road rage is, well, let's just get into it. So imagine, it's Sunday, it's one of those rare mornings where the world feels like it's finally come to a pause. This is your time. The road stretches ahead, clean, open. You're on your bike, not just chasing time, just riding. It's the kind of morning which makes you feel that the world was built for motorcycling. And naturally, as you grow more and more comfortable in the ride, you start feeling taller and bigger and stronger. There is no traffic, you're in rhythm, everything feels nice. And then suddenly, whoosh, an SUV passes within 2-3 feet of you. It leaves you both angry and a little shaky. And here starts the circus. You feel it, the blood surging, the jaw clenching, hands tightening on the grips, you're in peace. Now you're coming slowly into beast mode. Because let's be honest, it's not just about how close that SUV went, it's about what it means. Somehow you feel threatened. Somehow, for whatever word you want to use, your pride, your manhood, your vanity, how dare he, the sense of entitlement which we have as riders at times. So, the familiar downshift happens, you suddenly throttle up. The reason I'm laughing is because it's just so familiar. And that suddenly that chilled out Sunday becomes a mission. You don't even notice the speed at first, 60, 70, 80. And there's a change of epically stupid proportions happening on a highway, weaving in and out of traffic. The SUV is zipping like, he was possessed. You going after it like you were doubly possessed. And it's cat and mouse being played at very high speed with real men and women, the real roads, and your real body, which can break. You are suddenly disrespecting your bike. It's not meant to be ridden that way. And you're pushing it to the limit. But like any good self-respecting biker in this situation, also he feels 10-15 kilometers, you catch up with the SUV. And, it's like you get tunnel vision. All the other traffic just melts away. Your eyes are locked in like a missile only on that SUV. You've recorded the entire incident on your helmet-mounted GoPro. So you feel even more entitled that, I was in the right. So let me just go and teach him a lesson. And here starts what is going to become a travesty. And then you catch up, much gesticulation happens, all the gestures that we love to do when we're angry. Go up to the driver's side window and you signal for him to roll down. He doesn't roll down and you're yelling at him. It's not that he can't understand you. He actually can't understand you. You can't understand yourself. But he catches the tone and you're saying something on the lines of, are you blind, brother? Being a hero with daddy's money and whatever comes to your mind. You say in the heat of the moment, including you think you own the road. And then, drum roll, stop the music, stop the script, is where it all changes. 4 blacked out windows, they roll down simultaneously and out pop 4 faces. Those 4 faces belong to, local thugs. extremely well built, big guys, and you were signaling to the SUV to roll his window down and stop. Now they are telling you that you better slow down and put it on the side and let's sort this out. And there comes the panic. The hunter becomes the hunted. And the hunted now, which is you, again geared out happens. Now you're trying to outrun them because you know if they catch up with you, there's going to be a very heated exchange, possibly a fight, and you're outnumbered 4-1. Plus, they're on 4 wheels, you're on 2 wheels. And then the equation, fight or flight, that kicks it. Flight kicks it. You pull away now, same situation in reverse. You're again going like nuts, 140, 120, whatever, in and out of traffic because this time you're running for your life. And because you are a good rider, which is true, you weave in and out of traffic, you do some death-defying stunts, you take a shortcut here, a hidden road somewhere, and you pull under this flyover. You take off your helmet, you're shaking with adrenaline, some fear, some joy of, having outsmarted them. And all this while, this was supposed to be a Sunday ride, which gives you happiness. Just bear that thought while we go forward. And just when you think it's over, out comes from under the other side of the flyover, the SUV with the 4 men. And before you can react, they've pulled up besides you. The doors open, and that's the last thing that you remember. You wake up in a hospital, a few bones broken. Your ego has taken the biggest hit. Your pride has been battered. And the self-respect, which you confuse of being self-respect, which is actually not. If you were self-respecting, you would have actually walked away from that situation. Anyway, let's go forward. And now, while all those machines are inside you, something, beep, bop, whatever, life support, 4 people milling around you, worried faces, your family looking half amused, half angry. And then you start that self-reflection. How could I do this to myself? Too late, my friend. It's done. Now, here is the point. We all lose it. I do too. I've ridden maybe 300,000, 350,000 kilometers solo. And we'll talk about it. It's not just about traffic. It's about what is simmering underneath. We live in times when the line between order and anarchy is razor thin. People are simmering with one form of anger or other form of resentment for another. For many reasons, societal, economic, work, family, could be any reason. And for some strange reason, the highway and the traffic becomes their venting ground. Rage comes easy, very easy. And all it leaves behind is a tornado of destruction. That is how it these days. Either day in the news, WhatsApp, Insta, you see, stories of X biker or Y biker or Z biker either having been beaten up, his bike broken, or the reverse. And sometimes you start thinking, is this what motorcycling and riding was supposed to be, getting into brawls? The reason is simple. That self-respect we were talking about, it's misplaced. Why is it misplaced? Because for some strange reason, you feel you own the road when you are on it. Sure, there'll be fools like that SUV. But if you want to go down to the level of fools, then you're a bigger fool. Rage feels powerful. It feels so strong. I can do anything. But what you don't realize, it's not giving you power, it's actually taking away your power. It's not easy to say, let it go. How can you? You're programmed to be an alpha male or an alpha female, reacting to these situations. And all those special forces movies that you see, you suddenly feel, you're going to take on the world and stomp your authority with it and become a legend. But it doesn't quite go that way. We don't need to be saints. No one is saying be a saint. If someone is abusing you, please, you don't have to go and say, please, one more. But you have to be situationally aware. You have to be situationally aware of who you are dealing with, and therefore, what is the smartest way out of it. Because you're not just a rider, you're a human in motion, and your ride, your freedom is what your focus should be. Getting back in one piece, getting back to your family, friends, loved ones, wherever you need to go back to, is your second priority. Is what you think, but actually it's the other way around. Getting back to your family, friends is the first priority. Enjoying your ride, keeping yourself safe, wanting to ride more is your second priority. Road race doesn't get you home faster, it just makes the ride feel like a fight. And honestly, you've got better roads to chase. And I have to share this with you. People who know me know that I am extremely impatient. My short fuse is getting longer as I grow older, but it was really short. And I've been in these situations. But since I ride solo a lot, there have been times I've been stopped by hordes of people. Either they wanted to see the bike, or they were, that great inequality of haves and have-nots. Somebody stopped me and said, I want to ride your bike. I said, no, you can't. But it's the way you say it. I've been stopped by the cops many times. I've always given them respect. They've always given me respect back. So I'm not saying I'm a saint. I do get into fights. I get into verbal spats. But I am situationally extremely aware. My first thought at that point in time is, these SUVs, running too close to you, wanting a better look, or just trying to, instigate you, has happened over 50 times. And I stopped at red lights and said, do you want something? That's a question which is so stupid, but it disarms them. The usual responses are, just wanted to see your bike. How much is the bike? What is the average does it give? Because then what you've done is you've diffused the situation, and suddenly you know that they know, and they know that you know, that then you sound like fools. And just before I wrap up, I wanted to say I have never carried a weapon of any kind for 2-3 reasons. One, it might get used, it might get stolen from me, or it may end up doing something which everybody will regret. So keep your focus, guys. If you're there out on the roads alone or in a group riding, then keep the focus on getting back home safe and on riding. And for guys riding in a group, they feel even more invincible. But life is kind of like a full circle. Today you are in a group, you pick on someone who is, lesser than you, you're not going to become a better person. That person will find you someday, somewhere. So why be on the road where scores are unsettled? Just ride, man. And rage, anger, everything is going to come. And just as a closing thought, I always listen to music when I'm riding, which shuts out 90% of the noise, the honking, etc. If someone is very close to me, then obviously I'll hear it. Otherwise, I'm in my own zone. I'm concentrating on the bike, and I go, fairly hard. So all my senses are there on keeping me on that bike, and anything else that happens, I deal with it. Because alive today, right tomorrow. Safe today, right tomorrow. Happy today, right tomorrow. As simple as that. So, guys, I hope this small little podcast would have got you thinking. Because trust me, we've all got into road rage and we will keep getting into road rage. How you deal with it will ensure how long your riding career will be or how good you feel about yourself. Till we meet again, this is Ashish Bear from Good Gear Hub signing off. Thank you very much for listening.